Welcome everyone, family members, esteemed guests, Sangha members, and a warm welcome to Diamond Sangha Zen teacher, Jeff Ward, who's here with us today, and people online as well. Yeah. A special thanks to Twining Vines Zen Group for organising and hosting this ceremony today. It's a pleasure to conduct this Dharma transmission ceremony for Neti Mushin Parekh. I'd like to start this ceremony by acknowledging and excuse my expression if I don't get it right, Ngunnawal, is that right? Ngunnawal, people of the tradition and other traditional custodians and elders of this land that we sit, study, work, play, dance, sing on, acknowledging those elders past, present and emerging who've cared for country for time immemorial, and so that we in turn will also care for country. A Dharma transmission ceremony is an acknowledgement and celebration that Neti Mushin will also be acknowledged as a fully authorised Zen Roshi in the Diamond Sangha Zen tradition. Neti started her Zen training attending her first session with me at Kodoji Sydney Zen Centre Temple of the Ancient Ground, in 1995. And I think that was before we had built the dojo at that time.
It was being constructed.
Being constructed, yeah. It was like back in the early days, wasn't it? Yes. And so we had a special connection. I felt a special connection with Neti right from the very first time that I met you. There was this natural heart connection. Yeah. And she moved to Victoria and practiced with the Melbourne Zen Group, receiving Jukai in 1997. After relocating to the United States in 2001, she continued her training with Daniel Tarango Roshi and completed koan study with him in 2007. And in 2009, Danielle invited Neti to be an apprentice teacher in the Diamond Sangha. Neti then studied in the Soto Zen tradition in Santa Cruz and received full transmission as a Soto priest by Reverend Kyoko Henkel in 2011. And these two Zen traditions are like Dharma cousins, and Mushin now embodies both these traditions fully, like two hands coming together in Gasho. The heart of transmission is awakening to the Dharma light of wisdom and compassion, seeing with the same eye and walking hand in hand with all the ancestral teachers in the successive generations of our lineage, heart-mind to heart-mind to heart-mind. So there's a full circle with this heart connection today. It's actually coming home from where you first started too, yes. Teaching itself is a demanding path. It is an invitation to always walk under the vast sky and hold an open, compassionate heart to the suffering in the world. It's a gift and privilege to share intimately with companions of the way through all their travails and sublime joys along this deep and wide ancient path of liberation. A teacher will be trained by the Sangha, trained by its challenges, trained by the trust invested in her, trained by the 10,000 things. A teacher only becomes a teacher through the blessings, feedback and acceptance of the community. So clearly Neti Mushin has been guiding her Sangha and has the support of this practice community today. So this ceremony confirms that Mushin has a clear Dharma eye and follows the Diamond Sangha koan path of practice and realization. She continues to twirl the Buddha's flower of wisdom and compassion to dispel suffering and delusion for the awakening and liberation of all beings. And this formal ceremony, which is outlined in your program, will consist of a Dharma talk by Mushin, chanting, Jukai precept ceremony, that is the taking of the 16 bodhisattva ethical precepts. And this will be followed by official gifts and symbols of transmission, presentation of the lineage chart, teaching Rakusu and Kotsu. So the order of ceremony is in your booklet, and you can follow along some of those chants, and there is the precept ceremony as well. So I'm now going to hand it over to Mushin to give the Dharma talk.
And can we just check that people can hear online? Can someone give a thumbs up if they can hear properly? Yes. Okay.
On your order of ceremony. On opening the Dharma
And unsurpassed, penetrating and perfect Dharma is rarely met with, even in 100,000 million kalpas. Having it to see and listen to remember and accept, I vow to taste the truth of the Tathagata's words. Welcome everyone, and thank you to our global Sangha joining us today. In some ways, the point of Buddhism is really just to help us apprehend reality a little more accurately. It's not really possible to know reality or to understand our experience of reality, because it's always being experiences through our senses. But it is possible to have, I think, a more accurate way of interacting with the world that naturally results in us being more harmonious, kinder, feeling more intimate with everything, and therefore not having hindrances such as fear and malice and ill will and self-criticism and all of those things that most of us have at least some experience of, varying amplitudes. But most people grow up with some of these thoughts and feelings, and it stems from a misunderstanding of what this world is. So in a way, Buddhism is just trying to help us understand the world. And the world is too complicated for us to understand in any particular way. So in the Buddhist tradition, there's lots of different windows for looking at the world, lots of different angles that collectively create a picture that history has shown through our ancestors results in having a peaceful and equanimous state of mind and a capacity to be beneficial to the world and to have energy and vitality for that. And the energy and vitality for that comes from the absence of conflictual thoughts that burn up energy with no benefit coming from them and only harm coming from them. So I want to say a little about the different windows. And not one window captures the whole picture, it just captures a little bit. And another one captures a little bit. And they actually all overlap. And ultimately, when you look at them closely enough, they're saying all the same thing, with just different language. And my wish in this life that I have is for my Sangha to awaken to these teachings, to feel these teachings as your own, for all of us to feel them in our bodies. This is with great conviction. I really do agree with this. Not just agree with this, I feel this to be true. So when I do my prostrations in here, may everyone in my Sangha be liberated. May everyone in my Sangha be free from distress. Because that's the little world that I occupy, is this particular Sangha. So, and my family, my children and grandchildren, and the community and people I bump into in the world. I think that that's an achievable wish. So some of these different sort of windows, I just want to check on time so I don't go for too long. Some of these different windows, one window is impermanence. And we can look at them and think that we understand them, but it's amazing how you can continue to just have them get deeper and deeper, the implication of them. Suzuki Roshi talks about that. It's not so much that you understand the teachings when you read them or hear them, it's do you get the implications of them, how deep and fast they go. It's more and more subtle, it just gets more and more subtle. Little kind of aha moments, little realizations of the power of those teachings just goes on until our very last breath. That's what we wish for. Till our very last breath, we're still curious, we're still trying to penetrate even just the teaching on impermanence. So impermanence, you can just, one way to think of it is in the more obvious way that things arise and then they go along for a bit and then they collapse. People are born, they go along for a bit and then they die. Mountains get pushed up, they erode and things happen and they collapse. But if we keep on thinking about it, we start to get this sense of flow and flux and the constant sense of movement, that there's just continual movement. And if there's a continual movement everywhere, then we can wonder, why do I kind of grip like this and hold on to something and have a fixed view about something? Why do I get so attached to a particular thing or have aversion to a particular thing? The more we contemplate flux, we start to not do that so much. And then we have more energy for other things. Other things to do with just being in this world, being attentive in this world, caring about this world. So impermanence is just one window. But all of these windows blur into each other. So then if we think about no self. So if I'm contemplating that I'm in constant flow and I'm impermanent, I start to also think of all the things that create me. I'm made of everything other than myself. I just thought this morning in Zazen about the koan about the cart. The cart is made of different parts. You can take all the different parts off a cart, you put them together, and then you get this thing, and we call it a cart, or a wagon, what do we call it? It's got wheels and an axle. But the wagon didn't make itself. The cart didn't make itself. Everything that's not cart made this thing that we then call cart. And everything that's not Neti came together, and now we have this thing. We don't even know what to call it. Is it Antoinette? Is it Neti? Is it Mushin? We don't call it Kogen now. It's too confusing. And now everyone's got multiple names in this room. It's just... Sometimes I lie in bed and go like, right, now go over everybody's two double names so don't mix them up. You get them all right. It's kind of nice. It kind of points to we're not really what we think we are. So contemplating, I'm made of everything other than myself. Then we start to think about how everything I receive is a gift. And this feeling of gratitude arises. All the things that make me, that make each of us, this whole space, it's all being received by others. And all of those others themselves are made up by things that made them. And it just goes on and on and on, and we can't find anything. So that's the sort of teaching of no self can take us along that path, which is actually the same as the impermanence path in the end. And then we've got the Buddha's original teaching on suffering, or restless dissatisfaction, or just unease, all the different emotions that we have that we can call suffering. They occur because of clinging or aversion, which is another way of saying misunderstanding reality. We don't understand reality. We get hooked and hold on to something that's in a constant state of flux. But there's a way to be liberated, at least from additional unnecessary suffering. We can't be liberated from just ordinary injuries and so on because we have a body, and we can't be completely liberated from social confusion and upset because we're social animals. But we can be liberated from adding extra on top of it. So that's another window to look through. Another one of the Buddha's teachings is the teachings on Buddha nature. The way I like to put it, as people have heard me say quite often, is just because something exists, just because it exists, it's worthy of being treated with respect. That's a very practical application of the Buddha nature teachings. Whether it's a person or a plant or an animal or an inanimate object, or a mountain or a river or a sky or the clouds, because it exists with our minds, we might not have to do anything with our bodies, but with our minds, hold it with respect. Even the person doing the most egregious thing you could possibly imagine, you hold them in your mind with respect. They are a result of causes and conditions. They were not born that way. They're a result of causes and conditions. I can hold them in my mind with respect. So our practice is quite demanding. It's asking of us, with this mind that we're thinking all day, every day, and we're actually dreaming all night. Well, I don't know if it's all night, but our mind is busy during the night. It's busy all day. And our practice is to get to know our mind, consider these teachings, and notice and sort of like map the teachings onto our mind. Is the way I'm thinking now, is that compatible with the teaching on Buddha nature? Is this what I'm thinking right now compatible with the teaching of impermanence? And there's subtle teachings, like we have a teaching of not knowing, a kind of humility that we can't actually know. Even with all of these teachings and all of our practice, we sort of don't know anything. We sort of don't know anything. So when we find ourselves being a little bit sure about something, we can just check, am I keeping the like not knowing teaching at the same time? Like holding them all together. But the more we do Zazen and care about our Sangha and interact in the world and uphold the precepts, the more we do that, this process of holding all the different teachings together just flows naturally. It doesn't become effortful. We just have to check in every so often, but it just starts to kind of be who we are. And we've got the teaching on like just here, just now. Nothing else, just here, just now. And what's a great love for me is that it's possible in this life, particular life we have right now, to understand these teachings completely as our own, like we invented them, that we had the thought totally of our own, separate from anything that we've read, well, not separate from, but fresh, totally fresh inside of our own. And there's a koan I'd like to read that touches on this. I still have my original copy. I love it that it looks like this. It means it's a living book. Case 39 in the Gateless Barrier, the Mumon Khan. Yunmen, you have misspoken. A monk said to Yunmen, the radiance serenely illumes the whole universe. But before he'd finished, Yunmen interrupted him and asked, aren't those the words of Cheng Chou? The monk said, yes, they are. And Yunmen said, you have misspoken. Later, the Master Su Shen took up this matter and asked, tell me, where did the monk misspeak? So the monk was sharing a beautiful verse, the radiance serenely illumes the universe, and was going to continue, and then Yunmen interrupted him, which Robert Aitken points out in the commentary is kind of uncommon in the koan tradition to have a teacher interrupt the student. But Yunmen interrupts him and asks, who said that? And the monk answers, and then he goes, you have misspoken. We want these teachings to be ours, so that if someone asks us a question, we can spontaneously answer in our own way, with our own words, not repeating somebody else's words, although we might find ourselves using the same words, but we're using them like they're fresh. For a while now, I've been saying quite often, we want to liberate all beings in our mind. And I didn't really remember exactly why I kept saying that. Partly it's because physically we can't individually liberate all beings, but we can, in our mind, always hold everybody with respect. We can do that. That's a total option. And then I was reading the Platform Sutra, and there's Hui Neng saying exactly that. Liberate all beings with your mind or in your mind. Oh, I got it from him, but it had transformed. It wasn't really his anymore. It was mine. Now I say it. And that's what I want for all of us. And we often think of like awakening or liberation or realization. We often think of it as a sort of a moment, a particular singular moment. But actually, often teachers share, and Hakuin talks about this, that you have multiple kind of moments of suddenly the teachings become alive for you. And I'll share one example for me. I was working with case 2, Pai Chang's fox. And I was just thinking about cause and effect and how it kind of goes along. And I was thinking about flow. And I was in session with Sabana. And must have been a number of days into session. And I'd slowed right down. And I was just gently thinking about sort of cause and effect and how things cause other things, and where's the line between the beginning of a cause and the effect, and that effect becoming a cause. And it was just sort of gently moving around in my mind like that. I started noticing my breathing. It's very quiet and spacious, just following the breath. And then with a flash, I had a thought, what if my lungs were made of steel? And I just imagined my lungs just rigid, made of steel. And this awful feeling of like, oh my God, I'd be dead. And the whole universe would be dead if it was made of steel. Everything would be static. And then from that spontaneous thing that came in, I mean, it was just a thought that just arrived. I suddenly thought, oh my God, cause and effect are our liberation. Flow and change and impermanence, they are to be rejoiced. That's what life is all about. If we didn't have it, we wouldn't exist. And all of a sudden, the teachings around cause and effect and impermanence became very real, and they became mine. They became mine in that moment, because I'd had this image of my lungs suddenly becoming rigid and then feeling like, oh my God, we can do this thing. We can do this thing. And just incredible gratitude that there's this constant movement. The lungs are so great, breathing is so great, because we just do it every single moment of our whole life. We're doing it. And it happens whether we pay attention or not, but we can also choose to interact with it. So it's kind of an interesting part of our body that we can both influence, but it happens whether we pay attention to it or not. It's a fantastic object of purification and wisdom generation. So even though a little bit ago I said that we can't know anything, there is also, when we have these experiences like I just described, where we have a very true knowing, and it's a kind of knowing that transcends class, culture, gender, century, intellect, education. It transcends any of those things. It's a knowing that can't be put into words, but that can be recognised. And it's amazing that we can read stories from hundreds of years ago and know exactly what's going on in a certain kind of way. We just, oh yes, there's just a resonance that happens. So I think in many ways, true wisdom is just the experience of these truths that transcend time and space, that are kind of ultimate truths, that are the same for someone 10,000 years ago as for today. And we can have little experiences of those sorts of insights, or we can have big ones, and it doesn't matter, big or little. But if we trust that Zazen and doing our best to be wholesome and to observe our minds and also to share ourselves. My favourite precept is not being stingy with ourselves or with the Dharma, to share ourselves, that the world's better with us in it, the world's better with us as our unique expression of Buddha. Like there's nobody else but each of us to do the bit that we're doing, and to share that. So if we trust that we just do all of these things, it's not that liberation is going to happen in the distant future, is we are liberating ourselves the whole time. We're in the process of liberating, and the liberation goes on endlessly. I want to read one last thing from Reb Anderson, who is a teacher I studied with in California, and my other teacher, Kokyo Henkel's his teacher. And so he's talking here about the paramitas and also the bodhisattva vow. So we have the precepts, but there's the paramitas, generosity, ethics, patience, energy, concentration, wisdom. We cultivate those. And we cultivate those even though we're imperfect beings. We don't let that discourage us. We have the aspiration to be this wonderful bodhisattva along with being an imperfect human. the teaching and the aspiration here are given for the imperfect. They're given for us. We are imperfect people aspiring to complete, perfect, unsurpassed awakening for the welfare of all beings. It's okay to do it a little bit for yourself as well, but we are doing it for the welfare of all beings in the end. But to start off, we can just do it because we're sick of self-doubt, or we're sick of our judgmental mind, or whatever our particular inherited habit is that was given to us as a gift by our parents, by our siblings, by our teachers, by our schools and culture in the country that we were raised in. We were given these gifts that caused us to be a little bit kind of broken or neurotic and troubled in various ways, that a lot of us over our lives try to hide and learn through practice to actually not hide them at all, just share them, just let people see that you're not very good at certain things. I often share with my Sangha, they know I'm not good at certain things. It's so much more liberating to not try to be good at everything. So we can be imperfect people wishing for enlightenment for the welfare of others. It can happen that an imperfect person sincerely wishes to live this way, and if that person has some self-serving gaining idea, so be it. That's part of the imperfection. We can still aspire to the perfection of no gaining simultaneously with having a gaining idea. Part of fruitfully aspiring to perfection is to be willing to be imperfect. To be really good, to be really genuine at being imperfect is the Bodhisattva way. By that I mean that being generous towards your imperfection, being ethical towards your imperfection, being patient with your imperfection, being enthusiastic about your generous, ethical and patience with your imperfection. It's very rare. Being calm with your imperfection and being wise with your imperfection is the Bodhisattva path of practice. Oh, yes.
Jiko Segan Mon Shujo Muhen Segando Bono Mujin Segandan Homon Muryo Segan Gaku Butsudo Mujo Seganjo Shujo Muen Segando Bono Mujin Segandan Homon Muryo Segan Gaku Butsudo Mujo Seganjo Shujo Muen Segando Bono
Everyone would like to stretch, have us stand up and stretch just for a minute while we rearrange for the preparation food for Jukai. So, you'll need your sutra books and the precept ceremony. So I'd like to, a lovely talk, thank you. So I'd like to just give a little bit of an introduction to the ceremony of Jukai, precept ceremony. So Neti Mushin will now renew her bodhisattva vows in a Jukai precept ceremony. And to take up the precepts means I take up the Buddha way of living with integrity, compassion and wisdom. And you certainly do embody that. Neti. Contemplating the precepts is an important and integral part of Zen practice. Morality and upright conduct form the temple of our daily life and is a basis for our meditation practice and a training of the mind and cultivating wisdom. The 10 grave precepts are not rigid rules, they are guiding means and reminders in how to walk in a sacred manner, an upright manner, with integrity and authenticity through the trials and tribulations of our daily life. The Buddhist precepts are primarily based on the ancient Indian philosophy of ahimsa, which means to do no harm, with the intention to do no harm, and treat all life with respect and care, which you so beautifully spoke about. Through our actions, thoughts and speech, we hold the intention to not cause harm to self and other. So living by the light of the precepts helps to cultivate our character, to cultivate the force of virtue. And in the Zen tradition it's called toku, this force of virtue and wholesomeness in our life. Adopting an ethical foundation helps to embody wisdom and compassion through body, speech and mind. And there is a strong relationship between ethics and wisdom. And a simple analogy is the relationship between the lamp and the light. I remember in the old days, I lived on a community, Bodhi Farm, for 25 years, in the early days, and it's still off the grid, and we had those little kerosene lamps. Do you know those kerosene lamps? And we even had them at sesshin in the early days in sesshin, before we had solar panels. So we had to, it was someone's task to clean the lamp, the glass, of the lamp every day. And if you otherwise, it would soot up, and the glass would be dirty. So this important to clean the glass, so the light of the lamp then can shine far and wide. Yeah? And same is true with we are this vessel. If it's purified and there's a clear heart and mind and body and actions, then the light of wisdom can shine very far. Aiken Roshi was, I felt really full of toku, virtue. His light of wisdom shined very far in his teachings. Yeah. So teachers of old studied and lived by the light of the precepts. Everyday life is a great multifaceted koan of the absolute and relative truth, the personal and universal, interchangeable, which is always co-arising and intersecting one another moment by moment by moment. So the precepts are like a rudder that help us navigate our way through this mysterious and wondrous life with wisdom and integrity. So the recitation of the precepts is an opportunity for everyone present to reflect on these ethics, to listen deeply to Mushin's vows, which are the teaching also for today. And in the Zen tradition, a person's vows are their own unique understanding of how they wish to choose to embody, and that the expression of that, how they wish to live those precepts, those vows. So let's begin our ceremony.
And the right hand out.
The three vows of refuge. The great precepts of all the Buddhas have been maintained and protected by all the Buddhas. Buddhas hand them down to Buddhas, and ancestral teachers hand them down to ancestral teachers. Acceptance and observance of the precepts transcends past, present, and future, and forms the perfect accord in realization between teacher and disciple, continuing through all ages. Our great teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha, imparted them to Mahakashapa, and Mahakashapa transmitted them to Ananda. Already the precepts have passed through many generations in direct succession, reaching down to the present head of this temple. Now receiving the great precepts, I vow to requite my deep obligation to the Buddhas and ancestral teachers. I pledge to establish these precepts as essential teachings for human beings and other beings, so that all will inherit the wisdom of the Buddha. I take refuge in the Buddha.
I take refuge in the Buddha, seeing the purity of the Buddha in all beings.
I take refuge in the Dharma.
I take refuge in the Dharma, trusting the wisdom that liberates beings from distress.
I take refuge in the Sangha.
I take refuge in the Sangha, for here is where wisdom is actualized and revealed.
Please take 3 vows. The 3 pure precepts. I vow to maintain the precepts.
I vow to maintain the precepts as the natural expression of interbeing.
This is the cave whence all dharmas of all Buddhas arise.
to practice all good dharmas as given to us by our ancestors.
This is the path of fulfilled enlightenment. I vow to save the many beings.
I vow to save the many beings in my mind as well as in my actions.
Transcending profane and holy, I liberate myself and others. The 10 grave precepts. I take up the way of not killing. Self-nature is subtle and mysterious. In the realm of the everlasting Dharma, not giving rise to the idea of killing is called the precept of not killing.
I take up the way of not killing in the same way that I care for my body.
The Buddha seed grows in accordance with not taking life. Transmit the life of Buddha's wisdom and do not kill. I take up the way of not stealing. Self-nature is subtle and mysterious. In the realm of the unattainable Dharma, not having thoughts of gaining is called the precept of not stealing.
I take up the way of not stealing, recognizing the abundance of this moment.
The self and things of the world are just as they are. The gate of emancipation is open. I take up the way of not misusing sex. Self-nature is subtle and mysterious. In the realm of the ungilded Dharma, not creating a veneer of attachment is called the precept of not misusing sex.
I take up the way of not misusing sex, honoring the beauty and fragility of life.
The three worlds are pure and clear. When you have nothing to desire, you follow the way of all Buddhas. I take up the way of not speaking falsely. Self-nature is subtle and mysterious. In the realm of the inexplicable Dharma, not preaching a single word is called the precept of not speaking falsely.
I take up the way of not speaking falsely, for there is no one to impress or deceive.
The wheel turns from the beginning. There is neither surplus nor lack. The whole universe is moistened with nectar, and the truth is ready to harvest. I take up the way of not giving or taking drugs. Self-nature is subtle and mysterious. In the realm of the intrinsically pure Dharma, not giving rise to delusions, is called the precept of not giving or taking drugs.
I take up the way of not giving or taking drugs, for this moment is already complete.
Drugs are not brought in yet, don't let them invade. That is the great light. I take up the way of not discussing faults of others. Self-nature is subtle and mysterious. In the realm of the flawless Dharma, not expounding upon error is called the precept of not discussing faults of others.
I take up the way of not speaking of the faults of others, as it is not good for my practice.
One path, one Dharma, one realization, one practice. Don't permit fault finding. Don't permit haphazard talk. I take up the way of not praising myself while abusing others. Self-nature is subtle and mysterious. In the realm of the equitable Dharma, not dwelling upon I against you is called the precept of not praising myself while abusing others.
I take up the way of not praising myself while abusing others, because there are no superior or inferior people.
Buddhas and ancestral teachers realize the empty sky and the great earth. When they manifest the noble body, there is neither inside nor outside in emptiness. When they manifest the Dharma body, there is not even a bit of earth on the ground. I take up the way of not sparing the Dharma assets. Self-nature is subtle and mysterious. In the genuine, all-pervading Dharma, not being stingy about a single thing is called the precept of not sparing the Dharma assets.
I take up the way of not sparing the Dharma assets, because sharing ourselves nourishes the world.
One phrase, one verse, that is the 10,000 things and 100 roses. One Dharma, one realization, that is all Buddhas and ancestral teachers. Therefore, from the beginning, there has been no stinginess at all. I take up the way of not indulging in anger. Self-nature is subtle and mysterious. In the realm of the selfless Dharma, not contriving reality for the self is called the precept of not indulging in anger.
I take up the way of not indulging in anger, as we are all doing the best we can.
Not advancing, not retreating, not real, not empty. There is an ocean of bright clouds. There is an ocean of solemn clouds. I take up the way of not defaming the three treasures. Self-nature is subtle and mysterious. In the realm of the One, not abiding dualistic concepts of ordinary beings and sages, is called the precept of not defaming the three treasures.
I take up the way of not defaming the three treasures. Buddha, Dharma and Sangha are our true body to cherish and care for.
The actual body is the harbour and the weir. This is the most important thing in the world. Its virtue finds its home in the ocean of essential nature. It is beyond explanation. We just accept it with respect and gratitude. So now is an opportunity to offer Neti this beautiful teaching rakusu. And just say a little bit about, we decided to continue on Neti's beautiful teaching name that she already has from the Soto tradition. Kogen Mushin, luminous goodness, dream forest is your name. So I keep calling you Mushin. I'm not quite sure what your full name you want to adopt, but Kogen Mushin is your Dharma teaching name, Neti. So this is we sign the back of the rakusu with our seals, and yes, I do my best to kind of put the kanji there. So it's a beautiful rakusu. So let's take all, those of you who have rakusus, there's a wonderful little ritual that we do, sort of quite bizarre little ritual, but in a way it has quite a lot of symbolism. And one of the reasons why we put it on the crown chakra, on our head, is because considered that the precepts guide our spirit when we die. Our spirit leaves through the crown chakra. So there's a transcendence, if you like, the precepts guide that path of wholesomeness, yes. So hence we put rakusus on our head, and we'll chant the verse of the rakusu.
Verse of the rakusu.
I wear the robe of liberation, the formless field of benefaction, the teachings of the Tathagata, saving all the many beings.
At Magadha, at this very place, deep into the sacred ground, high into the empty sky, broadly shading living things, the tree of wisdom thrives by rain and soil and sunshine, and by your loving care that we maintain. We dedicate the Prajna Paramita Heart Sutra, our ceremony of Jukai, and ourselves to you, Shakyamuni Buddha, Dai Osho. We celebrate your sacred presence, your boundless understanding and your love. Let your true Dharma continue and your Sangha relations become complete.
All Buddhas throughout space and time, all Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, the great Prajna Paramita. To just now the official gifts of we'll do the Heart Sutra. So we should have done the Heart Sutra before. There's a few things.
We left a few things out.
We left a few things out.
Right.
Let's do the Heart Sutra.
And then repentance verse and so on.
We should have done that ages ago.
So we'll do the Heart Sutra that's in the Twining Vine Sutra book, page 3. It's all good.
It's okay. You do Heart Sutra now. Okay.
Heart of Great Perfect Wisdom Sutra. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, when deeply practicing Prajnaparamita, clearly saw that all five aggregates are empty and thus relieved all suffering. Shariputra form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. Form itself is emptiness. Emptiness itself forms sensations, perceptions, formations, and consciousness are also like this. Shariputra, all dharmas are marked by emptiness. They neither arise nor cease, are neither defiled nor pure, neither increase nor decrease. Therefore, given emptiness, there is no form, no sensation, no perception, no formation, no consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no sight, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of mind consciousness. There is neither ignorance nor extinction of ignorance, neither old age and death nor extinction of old age and death, no suffering, no cause, no cessation, no path, no knowledge, and no attainment. With nothing to attain, a bodhisattva relies on Prajnaparamita, and thus the mind is without hindrance. Without hindrance, there is no fear. Far beyond all inverted views, one realizes nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future rely on Prajnaparamita, and thereby attain unsurpassed, complete, perfect enlightenment. Therefore know the Prajnaparamita as the great miraculous mantra, the great bright mantra, the supreme mantra, the incomparable mantra, which removes all suffering and is true, not false. Therefore we proclaim the Prajnaparamita mantra, the mantra that says Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisvaha.
I'd like to offer some official gifts of transmission. This is for you. Yeah, this one. These ones. Now you have two.
Oh, this one's heavy. Thank you.
Yes.
Can tie a thread through.
Yes, they can tie. You can tie a
Red.
a red thread or purple. There's different sort of tassels.
I might do that.
Tassels you can
Tassels.
You can tie something to
Lots of tassels.
this is the lineage chart. So have a good look at it, because it's usually the last time it's shown around. So this is acknowledgement of the bloodline, transmission of the bloodline through 25 generations of ancestral teachers, coming down to the head of this temple here today, and acknowledgement of Mushin as a Diamond Sangha master. So now you hold 2 lineages, which is really lovely, wonderful. And there's the cautions for a new teacher, that Diamond Sangha teacher's cautions that I will read out. Roshi, Aiken Roshi initially gave these to me, and then I sort of reworded them, and yeah, it's kind of developed over time. Your practice begins now. Be humble. It's your students that really train you to be a teacher. Remember, guidance is a matter of encouragement and one of inspiring others. Respect transference from your students and turn it back with support for their practice. Let the word go forth that your Sangha and you yourself are open and friendly. We aim at nothing, become nothing, achieve nothing, and hence dance on the empty abyss, which glimmers with the rain and the early morning birdsong of infinite possibilities. Better to be in the dark cloud of unknowing and live in the unanswerable questions and mystery of it all than follow a false truth of religious certainties. Say yes, yes to the mystery and beauty of life, in spite of the pain, squalor, and the misery of it too. Draw up the water from the abyss, drink deeply, remember to replenish yourself and be nourished. Stay awake, for this we have now is not imagination. It is not grief, joy, not an in-judging state or an elation. Those come and go. This is the presence that doesn't. Your original face is signless, placeless, timeless, and traceless. Make of yourself a light and be a light unto others. Be faithful, be faithful. Rely on the Buddha Dharma, the path of liberation and freedom. Become like the great compassionate stone bridge of Jiaozhou, where donkeys, horses, and all beings cross over here. Maintain your Bodhisattva Kanzeon vow and use all your hands and eyes to ease the pain in the ring of breath around the world. So there's a few other gifts too. Here's another gift from me and Sydney Zen Center.
Scroll. From my mud brick house. Oh, maybe I should open it later. Or should I open it now? I have to stand up.
You can stand up and open it. You can carry it to Seshin.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, beautiful.
We have a wonderful student at Sydney Zen Centre, Glenys Jackson, who she does enzos as a practice, and does wonderful calligraphy. So she sits and does many enzos before she actually puts it on the scroll. And so this is a scroll I've had for 20 years, and I've decided, right, no, it's to be gifted to the Sangha here and to Neti. Rolls itself up.
Re-roll that.
This is a gift from me personally too.
We'll open this now.
Look this in. It's actually fairly easy to open.
I know what it says. This is a cloth for our altar. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you made it bigger than what I suggested.
Yes. This is a cloth that
We can put on our altar at Sesshin, and we can use it here too.
Yes.
Look at this.
yes.
Oh, that is amazing.
So it probably needs to be rolled out. Yeah.
Yes, it's got sort of subtle colours
Subtle colours in it as well.
within the black.
Yes, within the black.
Form and emptiness together.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Wow. We can look at these more.
Yes. We'll do the Bodhisattva vows in a minute. All right, so let's chant the great vows, Bodhisattva vows.
Bodhisattva vows.
Beings are numberless. I vow to save them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. Buddha's way is unsurpassable. I vow to become it. Beings are numberless. I vow to save them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. Buddha's way is unsurpassable. I vow to become it. Beings are numberless. I vow to save them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. Buddha's way is unsurpassable. I vow to become it. Everyone would like to get up or do some standing or full prostration. say some last words, maybe?
Yes,
Sit around this way.
but there's before that there is other people have gifts
Yes.
before.
Yes.
There's a few other gifts that are coming, Neti. So let's just be patient, and then we'll shift over to here.
Now sit here.
Yeah, sure. Well, actually, you can probably sit there. And you can pile the gifts around you.
So this is a screen print. We didn't communicate. It's another ensign.
Oh, wow.
This one's by. It's a screen print of one by Inzan Ian Zenji, who was 2 generations just below Haku, and then him and his Dharma brother Takuju put together our koan curriculum, or part of it that's been handed down to us. There's a I'll let you open it up, and I'll just explain So that's there's a translation of the explanation in there, and a little note from me. So these kanji say the mind moon is solitary and full. It's like swallows the many beings. Swallows the myriad forms, and this is a poem from case 90 in the Blue Cliff record, Chimen's body of wisdom. You know, it's got the oyster swallowing the moon.
Yes.
So here the moon swallows everything. So may the light of your wisdom pervade the many beings and liberate for years to come.
Oh.
Thank you, Jack.
Apparently, the calligrapher is a master of the Enzo. Yeah.
Yeah, Inzan is regarded as one of the great Enzo.
It's probably a little bit more transportable, put on altars and things.
Something from so the multiplicity of things from your Sangha. It's
like-
heavy.
Yes. I feel like if I open them up all now, it's going to... Will I do it all now?
Well, we've got extra time, so you may as well.
All right, okay.
Precious.
We missed out a few chants, so we've got extra time.
Oh, yes. We needed another pair.
Oh.
It would be perfect for Orioki. It's Sashi. Yay. Thank you. Kookaburra. We can all laugh at ourselves. Thank you, everyone. To our beloved Neti Mushin Roshi, we love you and congratulations. 29 Sangha.
Oh.
It's probably best if you open the other one in the same colours first.
Okay, thank you. And it's been taped up really well. I might just have to tear it because might take too long if I try to undo all the tape. Ripping away delusions. Oh my goodness. This is for our Tenzos. Bill, this is for you.
Manjushri's
So
sword.
I was going to say it's
Manifesting
kitchen
in the
version. Manjushri's sword. Wow, look at the pattern on this. this night. Amazing.
Neti, can you just...
Don't waste time.
I won't.
Life is short.
There was a Japanese nun who actually, she came from a samurai caste, and she received transmission. And the one thing that she always kept in her robes, because she, was grew up as a samurai, was a knife.
Right.
So don't mess with her.
Is this a sharpening stone?
Yes, we couldn't have a Zen teacher with a blunt knife.
That is so great. 2 grades of
Yes.
sharpness.
Yes.
The gentle sharpness and the fierce sharpness. Oh my gosh, it's very heavy.
It is.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Isn't it cool?
It's Kogen.
Yeah.
She's doing that.
It also has a stand, but I think I forgot to wrap it.
Okay.
Buddha.
Yes, come on.
All right, thank you. So, you want to say a few informal words now? Okay. I'd like to just share a little bit of how it got to this point, just for a few moments. I first came in contact with Zen through D.T. Suzuki's Introduction to Zen Buddhism, a book that someone just gave me when I was living down in Canberra with my 2 young children at that time. And there was a koan in there about a woman who raised a goose in a glass bottle, and when the goose was grown, she wanted to get it out of the bottle. And how could she get it out without breaking the bottle? And I had no idea, of course, how to respond to that, but I knew that it represented something. It had been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, this strange little story, and that inspired me to look up Zen, which at that time was in a phone book. So I looked up Zen at the back of the phone book, the Z, and the only listing was the Sydney Zen Centre. I was about, I don't know how many hours then, maybe it was like a 9 or 10 hour drive, something like that. And I went up to Sydney. I'd really not done any meditation. I'd just been reading, which is good to remember that I felt like that was perfectly fine, to just keep on reading about Buddhism and not do any meditation. So it's a good recollection. So then I went to Sydney Zen Centre, and it was either a 1-day or a 2-day jukai, I don't remember now. But when I met Sabana and went into that Zendo space, I just really had this feeling of, oh, I'm home now. I'm home now. I don't need to keep looking anywhere. Up until then, I've been kind of looking all over the place, having an okay life, like I wasn't unhappy, but really feeling like I don't want to die now because somehow things are unanswered in myself. So I met Sabana, really had a very strong sense, this is it now for the rest of my life. So I trained with Sabana Roshi for 5 years, maybe 6 years. Sydney and in Melbourne, because Sabana would come down to Melbourne. And then I moved to the United States and studied with Daniel Roshi. He's originally from Chile, but lives in California and now has sanghas in Chile, Argentina and Brazil, and has very large sanghas. Continued studying with him with Sabana's blessing. And then my life went through a fairly large upheaval, and I needed to be with a Sangha that was in my town. So the nearest Sangha to me then was a Soto Zen Sangha. And I met Kokyo Henko and started training with him, spent 10 years training with him. And not because of any kind of, I love Danielle and the Diamond Sangha, but I just needed to be physically close to a community at that time in my life. So I did that for 10 years and then was authorised to teach in the Soto tradition, came back to Australia 4 years ago, started twining vines that all of you helped me to create together, and we're still doing that, still going. And there was a little part of me that sort of knew there was a piece undone. It hadn't kind of been finished yet, but I accepted it possibly would never get finished. The circle wouldn't quite ever come round just because of circumstance, which is also okay. But then Sabana asked or suggested that we do this. And that was just felt so wonderful, because what it means on a practical level is that people who are doing koan training with me in the Diamond Sangha traditional way, which I have been doing with people for a long time, it means now if the circumstances are right, they can be authorised to teach and continue the Diamond Sangha tradition. So it gives me that capacity now to do that. So that's really what's the most beneficial thing. And now that I'm back in Australia, I'm connecting a lot more with Diamond Sangha teachers because there's a lot of them here. So that's been really nice, reconnecting with that community. So I'm very grateful, and it's so interesting, isn't it, that we could never have predicted such an unusual path to get around to this point. What a little 20-year sojourn in the United States. Somehow it's all come about.
But feels right.
It feels
Closest to the circle.
Yeah,
The Enzo is complete.
yeah. And Danielle, of course, is very happy for us to be doing this. So thanks everyone. And this evening we're going to go to dinner to a restaurant in Dixon. You all have those details. Can I just do a thank you to Zenko Jack for looking after the Eno Doan role, and for everyone.
Making the ceremony a bit shorter for everyone.
Well, that was all of our doing.
That was all about.
Well, the three of us.
Yes.
The three of us are at fault for leaving out about 3 sutras.
No, we did it on purpose so everyone could have a shorter ceremony.
And we did think maybe of all going down to Tilly's after this, but I think some of us might just want to go and have a little rest before this evening. But if anybody, if people want to go down there, it's just a short distance away, and that'd also be great. I think I'll probably go and have a little quiet time before dinner. No, Senko does this to me all the time. He makes me be more social. All right, if that is what's happened, then that's right. Go to Tilly's as well if other people want to. She's just what. She's the boss. Thank you everyone for being here. Very much appreciated.
Thanks
you.
everyone
Thank
for
you, Neti.
online as well.
And everyone online.
Yes.
We've got people from the States there, people from South Australia and New Zealand, and I can't quite see everybody, but thank you so much for joining us. You can unmute if you want to say, oh, wait a minute. We have to go over here, I think. Yeah, if you would like to say anything, you're very welcome to unmute and say something.
Beautiful ceremony, Neti. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Kai.
I'll talk to you maybe tomorrow.
Yep, talk to you tomorrow as usual.
Okay. Enjoy your dinner. I wish I was there.
Thanks, Kai.
Thank you for the invitation, Nettie.
Yeah, so glad you
It's
made it,
so
Carol. Last minute that I sent the invite to you.
so wonderful to see you in your full expression.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your gifts.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Yes, congratulations, Nettie, and thank you for all you've done for me and for the Sangha and your dedication. And it's lovely to feel a part of today's ceremony. So thank you and
Thanks.
congratulations.
Thank you. Who else is here? Oh my gosh, Tyson, you're here from South Korea. Hello.
Hello.
And Russ is here
Wonderful
from
ceremony.
Mexico.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Joel from Melbourne. And Jane from Blue Mountains. And Jilly from
Thank
Sydney.
you for a beautiful ceremony, Nettie, and everyone. Thank you.
And Chisan from Adelaide. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
I should have said congratulations from Rocks and Clouds.
Yeah, please say hello to everyone for me. Okay, I'm going to turn off the recording.